wanted to go jogging. So she took my socks, my blue socks, and said she was going to wear the socks. And I said, why you wear my socks? You have your own socks. Leave my socks. Don't wear my socks. Never quarrel with your wife. Never ever quarrel with your wife. So those of you who are quarreling with your wives, you're wasting your time. Because you are quarreling with yourself. And if she was so bad, why did you marry her? And you never know what tomorrow will bring. So I said, give me my socks, you can't wear my socks. So I'm going to wear it, it belongs to me. I'm going to wear it. It was the best decision I ever took in my life. Because she wore those socks and went jogging. Came back, put down her shoes, put down my socks, and then went to have a shower and said she was going to Port Harcourt for COVID. And as she was going to that Port Harcourt for COVID, she was playing with me, beating me, and I was shouting, someone will come and rescue me. Buhari, come and help me. They never came, don't mind them. And my wife left and she never came back. So the day she died, I went back to my room and I looked around my room and I saw the socks. And I took the socks and I held the socks. And I smelled the socks. And I thank God that I had something to hold. So I shared this with this boy at the funeral. So he came on Saturday, on Friday, he said, it wasn't socks I was holding, it was her underwear. I said, you guys, you're a very funny boy. I said, socks. He said, no, it's underwear. And he said, when I told him last year that I held underwear, I said, socks, they're underwear. He says, what a strange man. He says, well, when he got home that night, he couldn't sleep and kept on thinking of my story of the socks. Then he went into his wife's wardrobe, started looking for underwear, pulled all the underwear he could find, and wrapped them around his head. So that was the only time that he could sleep. You never know what you have until it's gone. You never know what God has put into your life until it's no longer there. So lesson number 1, treasure what you have. And be thankful to God that God has placed the treasure in your life. So if you're going to give this message a title, call it a treasure in your life. He says he woke up the next morning and the socks was wrapped around coming as she usually does. You look into the bathroom and you see her cosmetics, you see her bathrobes, you see her soap, you see this and that, and you begin to wonder to yourself, what's all this all about? You go to the kitchen, you come out of the kitchen, then you begin to dial her number, and then you finally find out that nobody's going to answer that call. I know how you feel, my friend, because I've walked that walk before. And behind you is a friend of mine who's walked that walk also. And the man that spoke walked that walk. Because what has happened now happened before. It's happening right now. And it will happen tomorrow. That is the way of life that nobody can stop. I came in from Egypt on Friday to speak to a one-year memorial of a gentleman who around this time last year, 27th of March, lost his wife also. And I spoke at the wife's funeral a few weeks after. And then when you begin to feel pain that you never knew existed. You begin to have heartbeats, like tremors that you never thought you had. You begin to think that did I do something wrong? Or where did I drop the ball? That if only I had not, or if only I had. You begin to imagine life, and you keep it looking at the door